Alright, since we got a bit of time till we hit Kalmar, let me tell you some strange stuff that's happened on the road. Gotta warn you though, some of it might keep you up tonight. So, one night, I'm driving through this back road during a downright miserable storm. Rain coming. Down so hard you could barely see 5 feet ahead. That's when I see this young woman standing there on the side of the road, soaked through and shivering. Looked like she stepped out of another time, you know? Dress was all old-fashioned, and she just looked out of place. But she had her thumb out, and I'm not heartless, so I pull over and let her hop in. She climbs in without a word, barely looks at me, just nods like she's thankful, but kinda haunted. We start driving, and I try to make conversation, small talk, asking her where she's from, what she's doing out in a storm like this. She barely answers, just a few quiet words, always looking out the window like she's seeing something I can't. I even cracked a joke or two, no reaction. Now by this point I'm wondering if maybe she's had some trouble, so I keep quiet and just keep driving. We get close to the town she mentioned, and when we pull up, I turn to tell her we're there, and the seat's empty. Not even wet from the rain, just dry as a bone. I'm sitting there, heart racing, thinking maybe I'm just tired and losing it. But I swear, I could smell the rain on her, and the seatbelt was still a bit warm. Next morning, I mention it to a waitress at a truck stop in town, describing the girl's dress and everything. She stares at me and says, "You picked up Emily. She's been missing from that road for 50 years. Folks say she tries to get home, but never quite makes it." I tell you, I'm a practical guy, but after that night, I'm a little less quick to pick up strangers by the roadside, if I can help it anyway. Another time, I'm running low on gas and pull into this truck stop around 2 in the morning. The place looks like it hadn't been touched since the 80s. Neon signs flickering, windows are all dusty, no one else around. Figured it'd be empty inside too, but the minute I step in, I hear all this noise. Laughter, dishes clinking, folks chatting like they're having a grand old time. The whole place sounds like it's packed. I'm thinking maybe I walked into something, but when I look around, there's no one. Tables are empty, chairs neatly tucked in. Still, the noise keeps going like I'm sitting in a full diner. By now, I'm spooked, but I walk up to the counter to get some coffee, figuring maybe I'm just tired and hearing things. That's when I see it, the whole room reflected in the glass door. There, in the reflection, I see a whole crowd. Folks eating, waitresses bringing out food, people laughing. But in the diner itself, empty. Well, I didn't waste time after that. Paid for my coffee and hightailed it out of there. On the road, I tell a buddy about it over the CB. He just laughs and says, "That's the ghost pit, Dave. Truck stop burned down years ago, but some say the folks still hang around." Since then, I take the long way around that place, and if you're smart, you will too. Now this one gets folks looking at me funny, but it's as true as I'm sitting here. I'm driving through the desert one night, big empty sky above, stars bright as headlights. All of a sudden, I see this light up above, sort of darting across the sky. At first, I think maybe it's a plane, but it's way too close, and it's moving in ways planes don't. Zigzagging, hovering, bright as all get out. It follows me for a good hour, just hanging, there like it's watching. Finally, I get curious and pull over. The light just hovers there, then whoosh! It shoots straight up and vanishes in the blink of an eye. I tell myself I imagined it, even laugh about it. But a couple nights later, I'm back home, sitting in my yard, and there it is again. That light, parked right over my place, sitting still as anything. Gave me chills, man. Haven't seen it since, but I get the feeling it's still out there, waiting. Another time, I get this gig hauling a big steel crate across state lines. Big old thing, bolted down tight, and they tell me not to open it. Top secret, they said, just drive and don't stop. Yeah, that kind of stuff. So I'm rolling down the highway when I start hearing strange noises. Scrapes, thumps, even whispering every now and then. I think maybe I'm losing it, but the noises keep going, louder the farther I drive. Finally, curiosity gets the better of me. I pull over, head back to the trailer, and brace myself. But when I open those doors, nothing. Not a single crate, no steel box, no cargo. Trailer's empty. Now, I know I didn't imagine loading that thing. I called the dispatcher and they said they had no record of me taking on any load that night. Guess we'll never know what was in that crate or where it went. One night, I'm hauling down this long stretch of highway when I start picking up a voice on my CB. It's faint, real scratchy, like it's coming from a distance. It's a woman's voice calling out, "Help, I'm lost. Can anyone hear me?" Now, normally you pick up signals from other trucks or nearby towns, but this one didn't sound like any of those. I radio back, trying to help her out, but all I get is static. A few minutes go by, I'm about to give up, when the voice comes back, a little weaker this time. "Help, lost." Almost ghostly, you know? I keep trying to reach her, but each time the signal gets weaker, like she's drifting further and further away. Eventually it's gone altogether. I figured it was some prank or a weird signal. But later that year, I stop at a diner and mention it to another driver. He goes quiet and tells me that about 10 years ago, a woman disappeared on that stretch of road, never to be seen again. No one found her car, no trace at all. He tells me I probably picked up her voice on that radio, trying to get help she never got. Now I keep my CB turned off most nights. Better safe than sorry, right? Anyway, we're getting close to Kalmar now. So remember, out here on the road you see some things that'll make you think twice. And some things, well, you're better off not knowing too much about.